All right, you guys. So I've been gone for a while now. It's been, I want to say maybe a week and a half. I've been healing. I had surgery. And today I'm just going to have more of a vibed out, chill podcast. Nothing where I'm just doing like 20 seconds. I'm just giving this to all of my brand new listeners because we're nearing 7,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we're nearing 6,000 subscribers on Facebook. And a lot of the people that listen to my podcast come in from Facebook. They come in from YouTube in particularly. So I'm going to put together this hour podcast. I mean, it's going to be extended. It's going to be at least 30 minutes to an hour of me just discussing the things that happened in the past week and just sharing my thoughts on certain situations. Not more so me reporting and breaking immediate news, of course, because I've been backed up, but I really just want to sit and just talk about a few things that's happened in the past week and share my thoughts about the stuff that's been happening. First of all, before I even can start, I want to say happy Black History Month. Okay, so today I'm recording this. It is the 8th of February, so we are a full week in Black History Month, and we only get 28 days in a month. This is not a leap year. Let me just check my calendar. It's not a leap year, so we only have 20 more days of Black history, so make sure you guys fit that in on your calendar. And we're going to talk about several different things. One of the biggest things I want to talk about is the Black history that was made at the Grammys, with Beyoncé becoming the most awarded musician of all time, with her receiving 32 Grammy Awards. And this was a title that was beat after almost what's been 25 years. And Beyonce outbeat George Solti, who originally had 31 awards prior to his death in 1997. And Beyonce just surpassed that 25 years later with getting her 32nd Grammy Awards without even getting the big three awards, which is Record of the Year, Song of the Year, or Album of the Year, which is, to me, is an insult. We could get into that. I don't know how she could win so many awards. I think she won Best R&B. She won Best Dance Electric Album and everything else. She won 4 Grammys this past Sunday. So, I mean, she cleaned up. She was nominated for 9. She got 4. Beyonce actually went down to her Instagram and she thanked a ton of people. And I think she kind of was doing just letting people know that she didn't get Album of the Year, Record of the Year. And she went to her Instagram page in the middle of the award show and she put this post out to her fans and said, "We won 3, y'all. To my hive, thank you so much for all your love and loyalty." She said, "Big thank you for the Break My Soul and Cuff It wins, to the Dream, Tricky, Hove, and Big Frida. I love y'all. Sid, I've always been such a fan of yours. Thank you. Nova Wave, Morton Rister, I think that's the pronunciation. Raphael Sadiq, Nile Rodgers, thank you for pouring into Cuff It. Big thanks to Sabrina Claudio, Nick Green, and Patrick Page II. Plastic Off the Sofa is my favorite song on Renaissance most days. It's hard to pick though. Ha! It feels great to be honored for the vocal performance. Thank you to all the talented vocalists who killed those beautiful TikTok renditions. I am very grateful and filled with joy." So this is what she posted before she actually won her 4th Grammy, because she had got 3 Grammys, and 2 was before the actual ceremony. She had won those, and then she won 1 during the ceremony, but she wasn't present at the time. It looked like she was delayed and stuff, so she was delayed. She didn't get to get that, but Nile Rodgers and her other producer, The Dream, was there to be able to accept the awards for her. And Nile Rodgers did a great speech. And I feel like, even though Beyonce wasn't there, it was great to have Nile Rodgers be able to get his recognition, because he's been in the industry for way longer than I've been alive, probably 3 times longer than I've been alive. And he's a legend, an amazing producer. And you guys should look him up on the things that he's produced, but he's legendary. So just to hear him talk, I was just like, yeah, this is great. And then Trevor Noah actually seen her when she finally came in, recognized her, and gave her Grammy. And then for the next Grammy that they gave her, which I believe was for Best Dance Album, she was able to receive that, and she gave a speech, and she thanked God. She thanked her parents, her father, Jay-Z, her children, and she also stated that she thanked everybody that inspired her. Her uncle Johnny, who that inspired the Renaissance album, which was a dance album, which was based off of course, voguing and for the LGBTQ community, and she thanked them as well for the inspiration for this album. And a lot of people on social media was upset because Beyonce didn't get Album of the Year. And it's just like, how can you be the most awarded artist of all time? Because that's what the record was broke that night. Once she received those third and fourth awards, she broke a record. How can she be the most awarded artist of all time, and yet the Grammys still want to play in her face, and for her to win so many prestigious awards like the Best Dance Album, and for her to lose to Harry Styles, it's just very strange to me. And her producer, The Dream, took to Twitter, and he expressed himself basically calling out the people, the peers in the music industry for being fake towards Beyonce, always trying to say, of course, she's the greatest ever. I mean, Beyonce just got paid $34 million to perform in Dubai, and a lot of these people that's probably on the Grammy committee was there watching her perform, and yet and still they won't give her just due. They won't give her, and it's not even giving her. She earned that. She's earned that. She's been out in here performing, producing amazing music, writing amazing music, and working with a lot of people in the industry to create sounds that the generation loves, and historic music videos, historic production, historic choreography. She's just a show woman. Like people say he's a showsman, she's a show woman, and she presents herself with so much class and dignity, And basically, The Dream, he went on Twitter and he explained how things work in regards to the Grammys, and how people present themselves as a supporter of Beyonce, say that they love her work and everything else, but when it comes down to voting, they won't vote for her. And the question is it possible that they're jealous of her artistry? Is it just her as an artist that they don't like the fact that a woman is at the top of the music industry and been at the top of the music industry for over 25 years now? Like Beyonce's been out and she's been pushing since like 1997. She's been doing this for like a solid, like she should be nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, but when did she go solo? I think she went solo around 2003. So I think she still has a few more years before she can get nominated, but she should be a shoo-in first year nomination, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But anyway, the question is this a racial thing? Because the last person to win Album of the Year was a black man by the name of Herbie Hancock, which is a jazz musician. And even that was a shock because he was in a category as well with Beyonce, and people just knew that she was going to get that award with the amount of people that she was nominated with, and they decided to snub her. She's been snubbed multiple times. This has to have been like the fourth time that they nominated her for Album of the Year, gave her a ton of awards for the songs on her album and her album herself in a particular category and genre, because they'll give her Album of the Year for R&B. They'll give her Album of the Year for the dance. Like, she was the first African-American to actually, or black woman to get an award from the Grammys for Best Dance Album. They'll do stuff like that, and they'll push that out there. However, and they'll let her be the most awarded Grammy awarded artist of all time, but they won't acknowledge her and say, like, this is the best album of the year. From the blends, the transitions, like, seriously, she hasn't even put out the visuals. I'm saying seen, it makes you feel like you actually seen the music video, how smooth the transitions is on Renaissance. It's just like butter. It's smooth like butter. It's refreshing like water. The sounds and the transition, because a lot of times people say, it's not always about this, it's about that, or is it the audio engineering? She should have got a Grammy just for that. Whoever produced and audio engineered that album, they should get a Grammy nomination for that. The production, the work that was put in. And the thing is, the thing I can respect about Beyonce is that she worked with so many different black unknown talents in the industry. It helped them earn their first Grammy. Shout out to Sid. Shout out to Patrick, okay, from the internet, Patrick Page. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but they are two of like five in this amazing R&B soul group, and I wouldn't even say that they're just amazing soul group called the Internet. And these people are just so under recognized. They've been nominated, but they never won. And both of these people, they won their first Grammys last night because of Beyonce. Because Beyonce seen the potential in them and decided to allow them to write for her, and it worked out in her favor. Like, Beyonce has been unselfish in regards to helping people, and it's funny because you see people on the internet, on Twitter and stuff like that, like the song, like one of the songwriters, well-known songwriter, wrote for like a lot of people, Christina Aguilera, of course, Beyonce, stuff like that. And she came out and she was just saying that, oh, I can't believe it's that many people that wrote on one album, kind of like trying to be shady for Beyonce having so many songwriters and so many producers be involved in this particular project. And I don't understand why that's a problem. Why can't she extend a hand to Black creators and people that might be a part of the LGBT community who may not have those opportunities? I feel like she used this album with a labor of love, and also to not only remember her family member who passed away, but to really try to bring in the culture and help a lot of black producers, a lot of Black songwriters, a lot of Black LGBT producers, DJs, and stuff like that. Like, she made it possible for a lot of people to say that they're Grammy award winning, and she's setting the playing field and the blueprint for a lot of people's careers. I mean, she's helped entertainers and comedians get on, like T.S. Madison. She's helped people like Big Frida, who's a well-known LGBT bounce artist, get a serious bag and really help prepare their careers. Like, she's done a lot of amazing things with this project, even down to working with legends, all right? Working with legends like Niles Rodgers, and the fact that he was there at the Grammys and being able to be acknowledged when he's not as much acknowledged, because as the artists get older, they start to wane out, and producers get older, they start to wane out. But Beyonce took a lot of different people from all walks of life and put them together under this one project, and we have Renaissance, Act One. I feel like there's so many people that's jealous in the industry. And of course, I was going to go back to The Dream and what he said. The shady people running the industry, his tweet, he stated, 100 people say, we love what Artist Z has done. Those same say we love Artist Z album over everything. They super consume the album. They come to the concert because she's amazing. But when it's award time, they get on the phone and gather. And do I mean gather? So he basically is saying that these people are backstabbing Beyonce. Oh, we love the work that she's doing. She's an amazing producer. But behind their backs, people are jealous. People are jealous. They're envious of her being so loved and so many fans supporting her that they will look at her face and say, oh, I love your work. I love this and that, and purposely not vote for her for Album of the Year because they're jealous and they don't want her to be successful. Now, I don't know if it's a racial undertone to it. I don't know if it's just motherfuckers hating, because people just hate. Some people are just haters. You know what I'm saying? They just don't want to see people do better. And the thing is, it's like, look, Jesus had a hate. Jesus had haters. You know what I mean? So who's Beyonce? Everybody has haters. I'm a regular person, and I know I got some haters probably on the internet right now hating me while they listen to this podcast. So it's just interesting how that works. And I don't feel like it's fair for you to listen to a body of work and say, no, I don't want to vote for her because I'm biased, because she's literally that girl. She's literally the most awarded Grammy recipient of all time. She's, it's just a lot of jealousy and envy, and it makes it so people make rash decisions knowing that those that receive the awards don't really deserve the awards. No disrespect, but I don't think Harry Styles can compare to Beyonce. Harry Styles just started his solo career less than a year ago. Beyonce been running solo for 20 years. How did he get the award over her? And that's just me keeping it real. And also, the thing with Beyonce is she crossed barriers. She crossed barriers of Black people, white people, all type of people be in that comment section going after her. And I feel like Harry Styles is more so the pop demographic, which is more of a white Caucasian demographic. It is. I don't really know many black people that listen to Harry Styles. So for you to be picked as album of the year, I feel like it should be an album that cross genres, cross bridges with multiple people. And when I look on TikTok, I see 100 white folks dancing to Cuff It. I'm seeing 100 black folks dancing to Cuff It. I'm seeing Asians, Indians, everything, Mexicans, Hispanics, everybody dancing to Cuff It. Break My Soul. Like, that is an album of the year. Like, I don't understand this. I really don't understand this madness. When I see Harry Styles, most of the people that's listening to his music is middle America. And I could just say that. I didn't really see many black people dancing to Harry Styles and doing TikToks and pushing it out there like that. Like, this is the greatest. He's not pushing Michael Jackson's status. And I don't know who made up this fairy tale story that he was the next king of pop. Like, that's impossible. Michael Jackson is not even comparable to anybody in this industry currently. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been performing since Michael Jackson was performing at 5 years old, breaking records at under the age of 10, making hits until he died at the age of 50. That man put in work. He lived and died for the industry, literally. And for people to compare him to Harry Styles, it's an insult. In other news, before I even get into that, because there's so much stuff that happened in the Grammys, I want to get back to that. But while I'm speaking about Michael Jackson, and of course we still about this Beyonce thing, give her flowers, and I need her, I don't know. Honestly, maybe Beyonce should stop saying, no. How about this, Beyonce? Submit a few more albums, right? Get to 50 awards, maybe 45. Make it so it's a strong hold on that. You know, on that record of being the most awarded Grammy nominated, whatever, of all time, artist of all time. And then, I don't know, start your own shit. Like, make your own Grammys, because these people are corny. They're flashy. They're corny. They're fake. And when I say flashy, it's like they disrespect her in her face. They play with her in her face. You know, Beyonce shouldn't even showed up to the Grammys. The Grammys isn't worthy of Beyonce. What really like she shouldn't even show. She's too much of a superstar to be at the Grammys. That's just how I feel. Especially if they're gonna play with her and dangle it in her face like a piece of meat. Like, oh, you want this album of the year? We know. Everybody's been listening to Cuff It. Oh, we seen them dancing on the internet. We know that this is really album of the year. But since you're black, or since because you're the most Grammy award nominated or awarded artist of all time, we can't give it to you because we're some haters. But we're going to keep dangling in her face. And then we're going to say we made history with Beyonce and push her over there. Like, we're done with y'all playing with our artists. Like, for real. I don't know. Something got to give. It has to be something new that can knock the Grammys out. And there's so many artists in the industry that can do that. You know, I don't know if it's something that's going to happen for them trying to do that, because there's a lot of dark things that goes on in the industry. But something's going to have to give. Back to the Michael Jackson biopic. Let me just talk about Michael Jackson, because I mentioned him, right? Michael Jackson is having a movie biopic that's supposed to be coming out. And the news broke that his nephew, Jafar Jackson, which is the son of Jermaine Jackson, will be performing as Michael Jackson, and he has gotten a role for the upcoming biopic. So this new biopic is supposed to be directed by Antoine Fuqua, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I actually seen a clip of Jafar Jackson perform years ago with his father, Jermaine Jackson. And he actually, you know, he sounds similar to his uncle. He has pipes. He has vocals. He definitely has vocals. I feel like he's still growing into it. I believe he's in his mid-20s. I think he's like 26 years old. So I would presume that the biopic will follow Michael Jackson from his Thriller years on, or maybe his Off the Wall years on, more of an adult Michael Jackson. But my question is with this biopic, and the thing is that I'm excited about Michael Jackson's estate actually making the movie, because there's been so many unauthorized biopics made with Michael Jackson, like that Flex Alexander one from the early 2000s. That was the worst Michael Jackson biopic I ever seen in my life. Outside of if it wasn't the American Dream, the Jackson American Dream, I was not watching no Michael Jackson biopics, because I knew it wasn't approved by the actual family and the estate of Michael Jackson. This film is approved by the estate of Michael Jackson. So, I mean, Jafar has been selected, and he has similar facial features to Michael Jackson, particularly, of course, the younger Michael Jackson prior to having like surgery and all the other things that happened to affect his image and stuff over time. I think he's going to be a great selection. I think he's going to really embody the entire essence of his uncle. And I mean, he's naturally a Jackson, so it's in his DNA. Like, he literally shares the same DNA as Michael Jackson. So I feel like it's going to be a great biopic. My only concern, and this is something that I do want to know in regards to this, will they talk about the controversy, like the true controversial issues that was going on and everything else that affected his career, that made it so, his career began to wane because of allegations and everything else. And, of course, as a listener of Michael Jackson, and I've supported Michael Jackson. Like, I know so much music from Michael Jackson. I've listened to unreleased records by Michael Jackson, like Carousel. Like, it's this one song I love from him that was unreleased. I believe it's unreleased from either Thriller. It was one of that era. And it's like so much amazing music that hasn't even been released by Michael Jackson and stuff like that. And I just wonder if the family's going to address the real controversy in regards to the allegations and stuff like that happened. And I'm not saying I want this movie to tarnish his name. I really wanted to celebrate the artistry of Michael Jackson and him as a person, but I also want to know what he was going through, because behind the scenes during that time, I want to know what Michael Jackson was dealing with those allegations and how it affected his career. And of course, the truth of like how this started, because I did my personal research on Michael Jackson and this whole ordeal in regards to the child that accused him back in the 90s. And, it sounded as if allegedly one of the parents was trying to blackmail Michael Jackson, all because of Michael Jackson not wanting to invest in like a film, I believe, from our research. And then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and say that this little boy was being harassed or touched by Michael Jackson. So that's an interesting fact, or possible fact, you know what I mean? I have to say allegedly, of research that I found off the internet of why someone would come out and make those allegations against Michael Jackson back in the 90s and stuff like that. So I just want to know, how they're going to handle that situation in the film. And I can say big up to the Jackson estate and his nephews and nieces and stuff that has been doing interviews and speaking on his behalf and clarifying things and making it clear exactly what happened behind the scenes. And I feel like if the the third generation of Jacksons are going to be involved in this, I think we might be able to get into that part, because I feel like they want to clarify that, because we've had people like Oprah put out documentaries, called Surviving Neverland and all this other stuff that had fake accusers on there making stories, allegedly fake accusers on there making stories about Michael Jackson that came out to be falsified, so it's just the opportunity for the Jacksons to be able to speak out on their uncle's life and really tell the truth about how things were before he passed away. I feel like Michael Jackson would have lived a longer life had he not been surrounded by so many strangers and people who didn't really care much about him and only seen him as a bag and a benefit, So I'm really looking forward to seeing that biopic, and I think it's going to be good. Antoine Fuqua, he's a black director, and he is of age, so he lived through the era of Michael Jackson. I think he's probably around the same age as Michael Jackson, so he has a lot of insight of what it was like growing up in the 80s with Michael Jackson, growing up through the 70s, even the late 60s with Michael Jackson being on the TV screen. So I think he's going to be able to really direct it, because he actually seen it with his own eyes and he knows what it was like during that time. So I think, having Jafar perform and really play the part, I think is going to be amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that we even get to highlight the fact that he was on The Wiz. There was so many different chapters of Michael Jackson's life, and, I am 31. And I was a kid when I pretty much, when Michael Jackson passed, I was like 17, 18 years old. So most of my entire life, Michael Jackson has always been relevant. And, I've seen a lot of stuff happen with him, especially when he did the Martin Busier interview, when people were trying to really persecute him and make him look like a freak and everything else, up until when he died, and seeing how all of a sudden that reversed to everybody loving him. And it's just a lot to be covered. But I really hope that this film capture the actual magic of Michael Jackson as an artist, because I feel like the last 10, 15 years of Michael Jackson's life, people just viewed him as a freak. They didn't see him as a human being. All they did was make fun of him. They didn't, just treat him like a human being, So it would be nice for the new generations to be able to see him as a human being and really enjoy the magic and the production of Michael Jackson as an artist overall, outside of all of the negative things that people have been saying. Michael Jackson's been gone for, it's been well over 10 years. We pushing probably 15 years since he passed. And it's crazy because I remember that day like it was yesterday. It was like the Twilight Zone when that happened. I was 17 at the time. So, yeah, but yeah, you guys tell me if you guys are going to be watching a biopic. Usually, I'm going to be honest with you. I put this on Twitter. My Twitter followers probably seen this, but I put it on Twitter and I'm just like, I don't think I could deal with any more biopics. I'm tired of people doing biopics. Like, I just want to see biopics on legends that haven't been done before. And the reason why I'm okay with Michael Jackson getting another biopic, because the American Dream was so dated. Like, that came out, like, literally probably the year I was born. Like, I think maybe a little before I was born. And that was over 30 years ago. That was like, if it came out in 91, that was 31 years, 32 years ago, which is like my age. So I do feel like it's time for people to remember and remember everything. And this is, years, decades before Michael Jackson actually died. So I think it is needed. Especially for the younger generations to know who Michael Jackson was, because he's been dead for at least 15 years. So it's a whole gap in a generation gap since his passing, whereas people that was born at the time that he's passed as are teenagers now. They may, be able to go to the movie theaters and learn more about Michael Jackson and his artistry. So, I'm looking forward to it. Back to the Grammys. So, they did 50th anniversary performance, and they literally found like every hip hop artist relevant, very super relevant hip hop artists over the past 50 years. And when I say relevant, I'm using it lightly because I know there's a lot of people who was not able to perform because they only gave them a certain time slot. But it was good to see a lot of the well-known hip-hop pioneers being able to step out and perform after a while. And it was quite the show. Now, I'm going to say the name and faces of the people that I've seen. I might be missing a few people because it literally was like, I'm going to be honest with you. The Grammys should have just did an entire Grammy special on like 50 years of hip hop. I feel like it should have been like maybe an hour show or something that they did outside of this quick flash, fast splice and stuff, because they're saying Questlove is supposed to be doing a full documentary, and that's what the performance is based off of, promoting that. And they were trying to put as many people in the performance, but you can't get every artist that's been in hip hop the past 50 years like that. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people that's missing. A lot of people that passed away. A lot of people who can't perform anymore. A lot of people who was not as relevant as the people that was on that stage at the time. And I'm not saying you're not relevant because you perform, but let's just keep it real, okay? They wanted history makers on there. So you got Salt and Pepper. You got Run DMC. Of course, you got Missy Elliott. You got LL Cool J. You got Too Short. You got Wu-Tang. You got Busta Rhymes. I mean, it is a lot more people that I'm missing, okay? Don't come at me. But Queen Latifah was out there performing, okay? They grabbed as many people as possible to put on that stage. And from what I'm hearing, Will Smith was supposed to perform, but his DJ was there. DJ Jazzy Jeff was there cutting up, and it was embarrassing and aggravating because I don't understand why Will Smith didn't show up to the Grammys to perform, because he literally won the first Grammy. If correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he won the first Grammy ever in history for a hip hop artist, along with DJ Jazzy Jeff. Fresh Prince. Parents just don't understand. Like 1980 something. So I don't understand why he didn't perform, but they're saying that Will Smith was supposed to be performing at the Grammys and he changed his mind. I don't get it. Is hip hop beneath him now? I don't understand why he wouldn't want to perform. But it was quite the presentation. They gave them a decent amount of time. I think the performance time was maybe like 5 minutes or so. But with so many artists, 5 minutes ain't shit. And you got Missy Elliott coming out doing 30. Everybody did like 30 seconds of their song. Like less than that. It had to been like, I say 30 seconds. Like we're at the commercial. You know what I'm saying? You got Missy saying, Missy, you put it down. I'm the hottest round. I said, what the what? Next person. Like, it's like, hold on. I ain't even get to the meat and potatoes. I ain't even get to worth it. You know what I'm saying? She didn't even get to the work it. You know what I'm saying? Is it work it? Hold on. We didn't even get to that, And they jumped over to the next person. I said, well, what the fuck is shit? this shit is getting fast. I can't catch up. Then you got the deceased rappers that they didn't get to acknowledge, like DMX and Biggie. What the hell happened to Bad Boy? I was confused because I seen all of these people perform, and I don't recall. Was Snoop Dogg up there? I don't. Somebody tell me Snoop Dogg was up there, because I did see Snoop Dogg and his feelings on Instagram talking about how he got 20 nominations from the Grammys but won 0. I don't even know how that even worked. But yeah, he was on there complaining about that. I don't think he was at the Grammys because he wasn't nominated this year. He doesn't really put out much music. If he has, they haven't been acknowledging it like that. But yeah. And we missed Bad Boy. I mean, we had the locks. The locks were there. I don't recall seeing Lil' Kim. If she was, somebody remind me. I don't recall seeing Lil' Kim. Where was Diddy? Did Bad Boy sink that bad? Where like nobody from Bad Boy Records really wanted to perform? I don't understand that, because they're a big part of hip hop. It's interesting that like barely anybody from like the Bad Boy era of the 90s was there. I know a lot of people has passed on and stuff, but I just thought that, Diddy and Lil' Kim was going to pop up and do their charade. I mean, I don't recall seeing that at all. But it was a nice tribute for what it was. It was good to see Run DMC, like I said before. It was nice to see Rakim and all of those legends and stuff. And, seeing Jay-Z embrace all of the people up there. It was real good to see the Grammys acknowledge the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Like, this was the blackest Grammys I've ever seen in my life. Like, I can't remember any blacker Grammys. Like, this was the blackest Grammys in history. And then on top of that, they done gave MC Lyte a job. Look, I forgot that it was the Grammys for a second, because MC Lyte, she always do the voiceovers for the BET Awards. And I heard MC Lyte speak, and I'm like, hold up now. Like, Trevor Noah done hired MC Lyte, done got her a check to do the voiceovers for the entire show. She didn't just do the voiceover for the hip-hop segment. She did the voiceover for the entire Grammy show. And I'm like, okay, MC Lyte, get your bag. And I was like, is this going to be consistent? All right, now let's see. I like that. I like hearing her voice. Like, she's the official announcer, like, for award shows at this point. Now, when I see her on a country music TV awards or whatever, somewhere else, the Oscars, all right, MC Lyte, I see you getting there. I see you doing your thing out there, girl. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I will say that it was a good show. I feel like a lot of people won awards that did deserve their awards. Lizzo deserved her award. I'm pretty sure Adele got her award. She deserved that. I mean, I feel like they spread the Grammys out pretty well this season. It just bothered me that Beyonce didn't get her album of the year, because I know for a fact, and everyone knows for a fact, that the Renaissance album was the album of 2022. I don't know what other world like that crossed over more than Beyonce's album. That's just me. That's my personal opinion on it. You can have at what you will in the comments section, and that be that. Now, outside of that drama that allegedly happened at the Grammys, they made a statement saying, and it was a statement that came out from TMZ, news outlets claiming that Quavo and Offset got into a little bit of a squabble behind the scenes prior to Takeoff's tribute that was supposed to happen at the Grammys. And Quavo was supposed to do his song that he made about Takeoff. Of course, I'm pretty sure you guys are aware Takeoff passed away last year in November after being shot in Houston outside of a bowling alley. And ever since then, things has not been the same for the Migos. It's been pretty much a wrap for the group itself. And a lot of fans was hoping that Quavo and Offset will reunite and they will be able to continue the legacy and move forward as family, because they're blood related. So they're supposed to be cousins in some type of form or fashion. They're actual family and not just some dudes that came together for a hip hop group. So people are hoping that, with all of the tragedies surrounding Takeoff's passing, that these two guys would be able to come together, and fans were looking for that. On Twitter, I see people saying like, oh man, I hope that, Quavo comes out and Offset pops out and they both, surprise the audience and, actually do the tribute together and really, show that love to Takeoff that he deserves from both ends, when it comes to the group, the Migos, because of the three of them. And unfortunately that didn't happen, although it was a nice tribute presented by Quavo. It didn't happen where Offset came out and was able to do it. Now, the reason why, the rumor is that there was an altercation backstage basically saying that the Grammys requested for Offset to come out and perform with Quavo, but Quavo didn't want it to happen, and this led to them having an argument and a physical altercation. Now, once this news hit, okay, everybody started picking it up like rapid fire all over the blogs and stuff, and people are like, is it true that Offset and Quavo got into this altercation? Now, Offset went on Twitter and said and denied the rumors by saying, what do I look like fighting my brother? Y'all N-words is crazy. So we just was like, okay, well, maybe TMZ just wanted some clout. Usually TMZ isn't wrong. Like, these are the same people who reported Michael Jackson had passed before anybody else. Like, they have a lot of credibility. They pretty much, if they say it 9 times out of 10, it's true. And if it's not true, they like literally take down the article and then they repost it hours later to confirm that's true. Okay? So next thing I know, I go back down to the internet and I see a clip from Entertainment Tonight showing Cardi B jumping over a few people at the Grammys behind the stage and telling basically allegedly Quavo and Offset to break up their fight, and both of them were wrong. All right. So ET cameras caught it. So we know that this altercation happened, but Cardi came back to the cameras and they asked her, like, it seemed like you was trying to break up an altercation. And she said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just fixing my dress or whatever, like trying to make a joke out of it or whatever. But it's definitely something going on in the background when it comes to the last 2 Migos members between Quavo and Offset. And at this point, I don't think they're going to reunite. Like, I just don't see it happening when it comes to them music-wise. I think that the group is a wrap. Now, of course, they are family members, so I'm pretty sure that eventually they'll both settle their differences if it's allowed, especially with all the stuff that's going on in the music industry right now and the drama surrounding Takeoff's death and this murder trial and all of these people and players involved and the messiness going on behind the scenes with podcasts, interviewing people who allegedly were involved in his killing and stuff like that, and those people coming out and speaking out, trying to speak their alleged truth, and also going after Offset. Now, Offset, basically what happened is individual went on the podcast and basically called out Offset. It was basically making statements about Offset and Takeoff's relationship and stuff like that. And Offset got wind of that, and he came out and he made a statement and told this man, Jay Prince, that basically, he needs to stop going on radio platforms and podcasts talking about him and his relationship with his cousin Takeoff, because he don't know what he's talking about and he needs to mind his business. Then Jay Prince came back on Twitter and then he started to spew out a whole bunch of stuff calling Offset out of his name and basically calling him a punk and all this other stuff. And honestly, on that podcast Jay Prince spoke on, which is $1 million worth of game, the energy was very eerie. It was very creepy. Like, it just gave me like gangster vibes. Like, you might want to go running high. Like, you might want to go under the table. And that's the vibe Gilly the King was given when they were doing the interview with Jay Prince. It was just given like he was like I don't know. I feel like he was bullied into doing an interview. He just seemed so scared. Like, Wallow seemed like he was his regular self, but Gilly looked terrified. Like, I've never seen so much horror in an old man's face. Like, Gilly got to be like 50 years old, and he's sitting here like the school kid at the playground. Like, somebody just shook him out upside down. It was like, give me your cookies, man. Give me your cookies, and you better let us tell the story about what supposed to have happened. Like, it just gave weird vibes. And I watched it, and it was so eerie because, of course, I'm going to do my pod talking about it. But I just feel like it's just getting too scary. It's getting a bit too gangster. Like, I really think everyone should just slow this whole situation down and let the courts do what the courts do. And hopefully whoever's involved in the killing of Takeoff is actually convicted. I want Offset to be safe because with this situation, it is a thing where we already have one Migos rapper who's gone over some nonsense. In the way that this person was talking to Offset on social media, it came off like it was threats being presented, like he was threatening Offset. And then you have Cardi B now jumping back into the situation. And then you have Whack 100 jumping into the situation, denying the claims that Jay Prince had made about Offset and all of this stuff. And I'm just like really thinking about the East Coast, West Coast beef that ended up with Tupac and Biggie being killed. But this is like 10 times worse. Like, I feel like it's scarier. I just feel like it's so hood and so gangster that everybody just needs to just back off away from it. Like if you have kids and stuff like that, just stay away from the situation and let the cops do what the cops do. It's just the vibes, the energy is just real low vibrational. I will say that much. And I really believe that God will find justice for Takeoff, and whatever the situation may be, I feel like he didn't deserve what happened to him. And the people that are allegedly involved, they will eventually be held to justice. If not, their karma will rapidly come back to them, because you can't do wrong to somebody and think that you're invincible. It can't nothing happen to you. Nobody in this world is invincible. We all breathe. We all bleed. We all shit. We're human. We're blood. We're bones. You know what I'm saying? And we all should be humble enough to not want to hurt another person or try to antagonize another person, to want to harm another person or threaten another person, especially us as Black people. And, especially when you're older than somebody, to want to threaten them and punk them in a tragedy, in a very tragic part of their life, forget the music industry, forget the music. This is real life, and it's people that have to bury their family member who didn't deserve to be buried. And it's just so, it's sad. It's sad to watch, It's sad, and I'm a little scared for Offset and Cardi B, because I don't know what type of connections these people have. I know that these people work for Drake and stuff like that. So I just want everybody out there to just be safe. And, if you can, stay out of any additional conflict or violence, please. Cardi B and Offset, y'all just step aside. Y'all got like 7 kids between the two of y'all. Y'all should just like step this one out for a little bit until the police or somebody involved, unless y'all don't have the proper protection. That's the thing. That's like, I'm not trying to tell somebody not to speak out on their family member. He should definitely be able to speak out in response if someone is speaking about him and stuff like that. But it just seemed like this is all going completely south, and it's just, I don't know, it's just getting a bit too hood for me. Look, I'm not hood like that, okay? So I don't know, but shit, I don't want no issues with nobody. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that. All I know is it seemed like Cardi B and Offset is going against the J Prince family and all of this Takeoff stuff. And then on top of that, everyone's still trying to worry about like, with Offset, he got more drama going on because Quality Control, of course, was trying to block him from being able to own the rights to his solo music. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, yesterday, they up and sell their whole label. Their whole Quality Control label, they sell it for $300 million and gives it to Scooter Braun, who was the manager and the creator of Justin Bieber's career. They gonna sell their record company. They sold their record company, Quality Control, for $300 million. Now, for regular poor folks like myself, you see $300 million and you say, listen, that is like a lot of money, a whole new world. Like, that is solidifying a network, baby. That's buying some land. That's like generational wealth to come, right? But it's not really a lot of money when you have artists like Justin Bieber, even Iggy Azalea, Future, all of these other musicians selling their catalog for basically the same price. So if Scooter Braun and his brand bought out QC for $300 million, really, how much is it worth? And this is the thing when it comes to Black people and ownership that people discuss, and they say, yo, man, like, why is it every time a Black person has a brand or they build their brand from the ground up, they always sell out to the richer people, which usually is non-Black people. And, it's hurting their brand. But, P from Quality Control seems to be okay with his decision. He doesn't seem to regret the fact that he decided to sell the company. I'm not quite sure. I'm not really sure exactly how much the actual record label was worth. How much records the Migos sold. But I just feel like it's an insult for them to build that brand from the ground up, that record label from the ground up like that, and sell it for the same amount of money that individual musicians is selling their catalog for. Also, it made me think about Scooter Braun and his history of allegedly, having a little bit of shady business practices, reportedly, according to Taylor Swift, saying that he was holding on to her masters and that she couldn't get her music and everything else, all the stuff she had to do to try to buy back her masters and all the drama that she's still going through in regards to that, and it makes me sit and think about some things, and it's starting to make sense why Offset wanted to buy back his catalog from Quality Control. Maybe he knew that this was supposed to happen, because technically, if they didn't sell him his catalog back and they completed this business deal, I don't know if Offset was able to complete the deal, because now it's coming out saying that they tried to go to court about it and said that Offset didn't really complete his contract. Is it possible that Scooter Braun's now own Offset and his brand and his music? This is a real sticky situation. It's starting to make sense why Offset decided to dip out of the picture long before Takeoff passed on. Maybe he knew something that he couldn't tell anybody about, and that's the reason why he decided to dip out. And everybody was trying to look at Offset like a diva or whatever, but he was trying to protect the integrity of his brand as an artist, and he didn't want to be caught up in the nonsense. I mean, all major record labels usually end up selling out, especially the black ones. LaFace Records did it. I believe Motown also did it. They all sold out. Like they let the other companies buy out and stuff like that. And that's usually a business move for, brands that's not doing well and stuff. And is it possible because the Migos did their run, and the last couple of years or so, Migos wasn't really doing as well as they usually do. And then all of a sudden, Takeoff passed away. Maybe that was the final determination for them to say, okay, well, we'll let them acquire our record label, because they got more money to push it forward. But I just feel like it's an insult to a brand for you to sell an entire record label for the amount of money that most musicians are selling their catalogs for. I just think that's really bizarre to me. But maybe it's just the value of the record label being valued lower than most musician catalogs. So maybe Quality Control isn't as big as they pretended themselves to be when it comes to a financial, and maybe they weren't making that much money as a black record label, because this is a hip hop record label. So, even though they have a lot of great acts on there, it's very questionable. And then the other thing is like wondering about the current state of these musicians that's just, that are part of the record label. Because oftentimes when like a bigger record label acquire a smaller record label, some artists get like dropped from the record label and they lose their contracts and all types of stuff. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people affected by this big move that happened between Quality Control and Scooter Braun and his brand. And that's something that's just on the top of my mind. I was just sitting there thinking about it. Now, let me just segue back real quick, because this is some more Grammy related stuff, because I know I segue from the Grammys and everything else behind the scenes, and this led to me talking about Quality Control selling their brand. But I was thinking about Chris Brown and how he went on social media and was blasting a man that won a Grammy over him by the name of Robert Glasper, who was an R&B soul artist, and he produced a great album, and he won R&B album of the year, our best R&B album at the Grammys, all right, over Chris Brown. And Chris Brown was upset about it, and he took to social media and he went on his page and said, "Who the fuck is Robert Glasper?" He comes out and yells that and put that on his page, and then he tags him and says, he also made some statements also he needs to learn how to play the harmonica and all this other stuff, basically trying to make fun of the fact that he lost to Robert Glasper and trying to demean Robert Glasper's brand and his musicianship as an artist. And then after he goes on this rant and everybody goes after Chris Brown for being nasty and classless with what he said to this man, Chris Brown decides to come back around and apologize and give this man a statement. But it was kind of like a backhanded apology, because he kind of like said, "Oh, I'm sorry, but me and you shouldn't even be in the same category in the first place." Now, Christopher Maurice Brown, listen, now this is an R&B artist. Now, don't get it twisted now. Chris Brown do make pop music, so maybe he should be more in the pop category, but we know he's not going to be in the pop category because he's black. I think the last person I was put in the pop category that was black was Michael Jackson. Okay, let's just keep it real. Or maybe was Lizzo in pop? I don't know. But like pop usually isn't for black artists, so that's probably the reason why Chris Brown is still stuck in the R&B area, even though he more so makes dance music. He don't really make deep music like that like he used to. He don't make that deep soul music. And he was put in a category with people that make deep soul music and really been soul searching. Now, I know a lot of people probably watching this like, oh, why am I coming at Chris? In no way am I coming at Chris Brown. I'm saying he makes a lot of great music. However, the way that he makes his music is more so for dance music. It's not really soul music. He don't make soul music. He don't make music that makes you feel deep and stuff. It's like dance music. It's music that you do drugs to and party and turn up to. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, the past few catalogs of music and albums that he released haven't been really diverse. You know, his music's been kind of sounding the same. Even he said in an interview with Big Boy that he has a tendency of making music that sound the same. And then he put together his album and it happens to sound the same. You know, it's like maybe he should listen to Robert Glasper. Maybe he'll get more inspiration to be a better musician. Because I feel like oftentimes with these celebrities out here, they think because they had 100 million streams of this or 1 billion that, and that's just good enough for them. That means they're the greatest musician of all time. When there's a lot of people out here that's homegrown producing music from the ground up and really putting in that stank, you know, putting in that work and making that dope music. You know what I'm saying? And they're not being recognized. And I can never be a person who's going to say, oh, this man doesn't deserve it. I went to listen to Robert Glasper. I actually was following him before he won that Grammy. So if I was following him before he won a Grammy, I know that his music is dope. Because I don't really follow nobody unless they got something that's dope going on, you know, when it comes to their material and his presentation. And Robert definitely deserved that award. Now, I do want to try to find the comment that he wrote, like the apology Chris Brown wrote to the man, because I want y'all to hear like the backhanded compliment that's in the statement. And then I'm going to go further in on this subject. So he DM'd Robert Glasper, and he said, and he screenshotted it so the fans could see that he apologized, saying, "Congratulations, my brother. I would like to apologize if you took offense to my reaction at the Grammys. You were not the intended target. I know I came off really mean and rude." He also stated, "After doing my research, I actually think you're amazing. The organization isn't doing us blacks our due diligence. You and I should never be in the same category. Two totally different vibes and genres. So from one black man to another, congratulations. Hope you are able to feed your family for life. God bless my G." So that's what he said as his apology to Glasper. Now people could say, you know, was that an actual solid apology? You know, because it's kind of like throwing a backhand, like, yeah, we shouldn't even be in the same category. You know, I don't know. But that's what Chris Brown said. He said he was sorry. So I guess we'll just let it go ahead and slide on by and move on to the next subject. So LeBron James broke a world record in the NBA to make it as the NBA's highest scorer. All right. He just outbeat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar during his basketball game this week. Now, the goal was for him to surpass the total of, I want to say, 38,387 points. That was the record that was set by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar over 38 years ago. And during his game this week, LeBron James beat that title, averaging 38,390 career points overall. And now LeBron James is officially solidified in NBA history. We know he will be a Hall of Famer once he's done with his NBA career. His NBA career has lasted for 20 years. I'm pretty sure LeBron James may stick in there a little longer, kind of like Tom Brady when it comes to basketball. You know how Tom Brady decided to just retire at 45 in the NFL? I feel like LeBron James might be that player. I think he might be one of the players in the NBA that plays until he's almost 40, 42 years old, because his son, Bronny James, is real close to making it to the NBA, and I think he's probably going to hold it out a little longer just so he can play one season. Just one season with his son, and then he's going to retire. That's just how I feel. Or even do a half a season. I feel like he wants to make history. And, I'm so happy for LeBron James, because I remember when I was a kid, when he first got recruited from high school and from Akron and everything else. And, at that time, I played basketball myself, and he was truly one of my greatest inspirations. generations seeing him play. And for him to make this type of history, he has surpassed all of the greats, all of the GOATs before him, including Kobe Bryant, including Michael Jordan. You know, all of the top scorers that you could think of in your head, Shaquille O'Neal, all of those people he surpassed prior to making this happen. And he was so close to surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for quite some time. And as of this week, he made it happen. He made the record for the highest scoring athlete in the NBA. And, you know, very happy for him. Everybody's on social media celebrating. Now, the only thing is that he did end up losing the game against the Thunder, and a lot of fans wasn't really happy about that because he lost by 3 points, even though he was in the Hall of Fame. Y'all, I seen the press conference where the winner of the game was getting no press. All they did was give press to LeBron James and the Lakers, all because he broke his record, which shows you the power of LeBron James and the legacy that he has and how big and important he is to the NBA and to the people around the world in the sports world. Either way, whether he lost or won, he's still just like somebody who's just created history, and he worked very hard for it. He got recruited straight out of high school, and for him to be 38 years old, still playing basketball and not having to miss one season that I know of, like, congratulations to LeBron James. Congratulations to the entire James family, his wife, his kids. You know, they really are a stamp of Black excellence and an example of Black excellence. So congratulations to LeBron James. Did you guys see that jump shot that he did? You know, I mean, it was just amazing to see that. In 38 years, that's a long time. And that just shows how great of a basketball player LeBron James is, because it took almost 40 years for somebody to beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And that also speaks on how amazing of a player Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is, you know, and I feel like he deserves his flowers as well for his outstanding performance as a basketball player in the NBA. So in more positive news, R&B singer SZA has been named Billboard's Woman of the Year, man. Congratulations to her. Currently, her album SOS has been on the charts like at number 1 for at least over a month now, and she's making history. This is coming directly from the Shade Room. It says, congrats are in order for SZA, who has been named Billboard's Woman of the Year. She will officially receive the honor at Billboard's annual Women in Music Awards taking place next month. Billboard editorial director Hannah Karp spoke about presenting SZA with her honor and said, since she burst onto the scene in 2017, SZA has defined genres and continually released raw, powerful songs which have landed her music on the Billboard charts. The release of her latest album, SOS, has solidified her as a distinct force in contemporary R&B and catapulted her into superstardom. We can't wait to honor her as a Woman of the Year. SZA will now join other artists such as Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga, and others who have previously been honored with the title. So this is a big accomplishment for SZA. And I think next year she's going to have a lot of Grammy talk in nominations and maybe some awards for 2024. And I hope that she gets Album of the Year. We're just going to hope and keep our fingers crossed that the people at the Grammy committee actually open their ears and their eyes and their hearts and give the awards to the people that deserve them, because this is definitely becoming the Album of the Year for the year of 2023 at this point. So congratulations to SZA on her award that she's definitely receiving from Billboard. That's a big accomplishment. Now, in some unexpected hip-hop news, it's being reported that Drake is being summoned to come to court for a deposition in connections with the murder of rap artist XXX Tentacion, who was murdered outside of a bike store in 2018. Now, of course, there's been a lot of speculation surrounding Drake, rumors coming out after there was actual posts from XXX Tentacion making posts prior to his passing, claiming that if he were to be murdered, it was Drake who did it. And he said, I'm snitching right now. And this is one of the many posts that was made in regards to his ongoing issues with Drake, allegedly. There was supposed to have been alleged issues between the rappers, some type of beef that was going on prior to the rapper's death, and he put up a post and made that statement insinuating that Drake may be involved in his killing prior to him actually being killed. This statement was released via the Rolling Stone, and also the Shade Room reported on it. It stated Drake has received a court order in connections to the XXX Tentacion murder trial to either sit for a deposition or appear in court. The order comes from Mauricio Pedelli, the defense attorney to Dedrick Williams, one of the three suspects on trial. Mauricio believes that the OVO rapper is connected to the death of XXX Tentacion due to a 2017 beef between the two stars. According to court documents obtained by the Rolling Stone, Drake failed to appear for a scheduled deposition on January 27th and is now being ordered for a deposition for February 24th via Zoom. If he fails to appear again, the court can determine why he should not be held in contempt. So this sounds pretty serious. I'm pretty sure if you guys followed XXX Tentacion, if you guys are fans of his, this has been a widespread rumor amongst fans and people thinking that Drake may have been involved in the untimely murder of XXX Tentacion. And there's a lot going on because they just did the opening statements for this trial. And I'll keep you guys updated when it unfolds and everything else. I'm probably going to do more of like a direct video about that on YouTube because there was a lot that has happened during the past week in regards to the murder trial involving XXX Tentacion that I really don't feel like reading here. I don't want to really dive into that and really be dark right now, but it's just an unfortunate situation, and whoever is involved, they already caught the men that were involved, and there was like video footage that showed XXX actually going to the bank and picking up $50,000 from his bank account prior to going to the location where he was going to buy his motorcycle bike at and purchase it. And he had all of his money on him. And then we also seen recently they released video footage of XXX Tentacion pulling up to the gates when the robbers and murderers came out of the truck. They blocked him off so he couldn't exit out of the parking lot, and then they proceeded to attack him, shoot him, eventually killing him and robbing him. So all of that is caught on videotape. I'm pretty sure that these three men will be fully convicted. The only question is, like, how is Drake even involved in this whole situation? And if they're going to summon Drake to court, I mean, they have to have some solid evidence against Drake outside of possible rap lyrics to convict him and say, hey, he was involved in this, and this is the reason why, and, you know, he is involved in this and why he wanted XXX dead. And, you know, they would have to, like, they're saying that it's the defense attorney of one of the men who's currently on trial for murdering XXX Tentacion, and this guy is now coming out saying that Drake was involved. So is it possible that Drake hired these three guys as hitmen? It just seemed like a real sloppy hit to me if that is the case, because it's just like this guy is singing like a canary and he's telling on Drake and claiming this. Or he could be lying. He could be lying, just trying to get off. Either way, he did it. So, I mean, I don't think it can get any better for him because he murdered a man. It was caught on HD footage, video footage, in color. Like, you could literally see him walk up to this man and take his life. Like, it's fully documented. The motive is very clear. The motive of the killing is on camera because we seen XXX literally go to the bank and withdraw $50,000 from his account in cash and then walk out and then go to the other facility, the motorcycle facility, and was dropping money there and doing all this stuff. So it was very obvious that he had money on him, which would make him an intended target. On top of that, he had a very nice car, very nice expensive car he was driving as well. So that could be, you know, a lot of reasons why these three men just decided, okay, we want to rob him. Like, maybe Drake isn't involved, but maybe they trying to just throw him in there to make it seem like he was. Now, Drake did have a couple of songs that fans are claiming Drake was making certain statements in there insinuating that maybe Drake was referring to XXX Tentacion's murder and stuff like that. But baby, it's just getting a bit spooky out in these streets. I just don't see Drake doing, like, being that dumb and messy if he did do a hit on somebody. I'm not saying it's impossible because I personally don't think anybody is incapable of doing anything. I really don't put anything past nobody, but we don't know if it's true or not. So everything that I'm stating is alleged. This is all alleged. We don't know what really happened, but this is what the courts are claiming, and this is what this man who been arrested for the killing and the shooting and robbery of Triple X Tentacion is claiming that Drake in some way or fashion is involved in this unfortunate murder. So listen, if I get any more updates, I will keep you guys posted on that, and we'll discuss it even further. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have on that. And then on top of that, Trey Songz, like, listen, more legal issues, right? Trey Songz is in court again for more rape allegations. Now look, over the past 2 years, it just seemed like every other month there's a new person coming out saying Trey Songz allegedly assaulted them in some form of fashion, whether it's physical assault or sexual assault. And it's not just women, it's men and women coming out saying that, oh, he did this, he tried to physically assault them, beat them up, basically trying to say that Trey Songz is like a loose cannon and he has a bad attitude and he's violent and he's allegedly a sexual deviant child. They put out a report via the Shade Room claiming that Trey Songz, Atlantic Records, and Kevin Liles is being sued for $25 million over a 2016 rape allegation. Now, I'm going to read some of this information for what I have. It says, according to court documents obtained, this is obtained again by the Rolling Stone, Jane Doe has filed a $25 million lawsuit against the singer Trey Songz. The suit stems from a 2016 sexual battery case where Jane Doe claims she was sodomized by Trey at a party, and also names Atlantic Records, Trey's managers, Kevin Liles, and 300 Management as defendants. They claim that the parties effectively turned a blind eye to multiple accusations against the singer and should be held responsible for his actions. So this dropped earlier, I want to say, was this 2 days ago? Actually, this dropped yesterday, y'all. This dropped yesterday. This came out basically claiming that Trey Songz allegedly assaulted this woman. Now, since then, Trey Songz seemingly went on his page on Instagram and put out a statement denying the claims, saying that lies will never be the truth, no matter who chooses to believe such. And this is what he put up on his page, denying the allegations of these assaults. Now, I'm not here to say whether he's innocent or he's not innocent. However, there's been a ton of people over the past couple of years with cops being involved making claims that Trey Songz is either a violent person or a sexual deviant. Along with that, there is video footage of him sexually assaulting a woman, like taking a woman's breast out or touching a woman inappropriate, that I remember seeing on the web like last year. So it's just something in the milk ain't clean. Something in the milk ain't clean. But I had to say allegedly because I wasn't there. But this is what the girls are saying, and this is what they're claiming in regards to Trey Songz. It just sounds like another situation like R. Kelly's. You know what I mean? But I think I think a lot of the people that's being assaulted is actually of age and not like little girls involved. But there's a lot of women that's coming out and they're saying stuff like, look, he allegedly did this to me, he allegedly did that to me, he allegedly touched me, stuff like that. And it's just like, and then people are saying that he beat up somebody in a nightclub. It's just a lot that has been going on with Trey Songz. Like, people are not even listening to his music like that anymore. Like, I feel like every time I hear about Trey Songz, it's not because of his music. It's about the next person he allegedly sexually assaulted or the next person he allegedly beat up or attacked physically. Like, it's never anything positive anymore in regards to him and his music career, which is so bizarre. It's just sickening. So if he is involved in this, let justice be served to the victims. If not, let him find his justice and expose these people, But I just feel like if it walk like a duck, it quack like a duck, it might just be a duck. And that's just that's where I'm going to leave that at. And, y'all can share your thoughts about that situation too. So Glorilla is in the news because one of the fans at an event that she was hosting threw water at her, claiming that she didn't complete her contractual duties and do a performance at a nightclub out in Oakland, California. Now, the video footage surfaced everywhere with this woman throwing a water bottle and water on Glorilla, and Glorilla attempted to jump over the woman. However, of course, Glorilla's bodyguards blocked her from doing so, and eventually a couple of folks down, a girl jumped out and threw water back on this woman who threw water on Glorilla. Now, since then, there's been claims that Glorilla was supposed to actually perform. The promoter promoter came out and made a claim that Glorilla was actually supposed to perform for $30,000. And Yo Gotti, who is like the owner of the record label that Glorilla is a part of, made a statement saying that was not enough money for Glorilla to perform, and $30,000 would only get them a walkthrough or maybe a hosting by her. But now this promoter wants his money back because I guess he thinks he's been ripped off and that Glorilla didn't satisfy her contractual agreement. And ever since then, there's been people in Oakland, or folks claiming to be from Oakland, dragging Glorilla all over the internet for her showing up to this Oakland event and not performing, basically trying to claim that she's stuck up. One person went on social media and said the Bay don't play. Got her A up out of there real quick. You got to respect real pimping when you in Oakland, not that phony itch. But Glorilla replied back and clapped back because she reposted this actual post on her timeline on Instagram. And she said, ain't nobody scared of no damn city. One HO like ho played and that's it. Don't feel special, whatever. So she basically is clapping back and trying to defend herself against the people in Oakland, California because of the incident that happened and led up to this whole, fiasco. Now, I don't feel like this woman had the right to throw water in a bottle at Glorilla like that, like because she didn't perform. Like, you don't know her. She didn't do nothing to you. That should have been between her and the promoter. And if this promoter paid her $30,000 for a walkthrough, and that's what her team told her that it was supposed to be, was a walkthrough and a host. She did her job. Now, they probably would have to take this to court if this man is asking for $30,000 back. More than likely, that team is not going to give him that money back because she did show up. She did do her job. It wasn't her fault that whoever in the crowd was hyphy and turned the F up and decided to want to throw water on her, all because they were jealous? She could have performed. This woman could have still threw water bottle and water on her because you can't be a fan of a person and be able to physically assault him by throwing water on them and throwing a water bottle at them all because they didn't do a shuck and jive for you. Like, that is insane to me. I don't think Glorilla should have performed if that's the type of time the people that's there it was going to be on. That was inappropriate, and that woman should have been removed from the nightclub if you're going to be throwing water and bottles at the alleged host of the night. That's not acceptable, but of course they're coming out back and forth. This promoter wants his money back. Do you guys feel like Glorilla is in the wrong and should get his man his money back, or is he in the wrong and should just let Glorilla keep her money all because she was physically assaulted in the middle of her event that she was supposed to have been hosting? I want to hear your thoughts about this, and do you guys think they'll end up settling this out of court and they'll taking it to court for this $30,000? Now, it's on camera that Glorilla showed up, so you can't say she didn't show up, but the question is, was it in the contract for her to perform? And if it was a misunderstanding, that would have to be between her and her management. They're going to have to sit down and read over those papers again on what they actually signed up for. Because if it was indeed in a contract for her to perform, technically Glorilla might have to actually send that money back or she might get sued. All right. So I just want to hear your thoughts about this. Another thing that just came out today. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys are aware that Kanye West was signed up in a business deal with Adidas for his Yeezy shoe brand and his overall Yeezy brand to distribute sneakers through Adidas, and it brought the company billions of dollars. But at the end of last year, Adidas cut ties with Kanye West due to him going on several different interviews where he was spewing anti-Semitic rhetoric. And this was not a good look for Kanye West. He lost a lot of basically all his endorsement deals that he has, Balenciaga deals, everything that you could think of that Kanye West was associated with, Gap, they all dropped him due to his statements, all right? And Adidas was one of the companies that dropped him. Although he felt like Adidas wouldn't drop him, they end up being the last folks to drop him. And now it looks as if this is coming back to haunt the Adidas company because they're revealing that the company is expected to lose $1.3 billion in revenues since cutting ties with Kanye West over his anti-Semitic remarks. The company announced that it will be stripping the clothing of Kanye West's brand name Yeezy, which could continue to cause a financial issue. So they're basically trying to say with them removing all of the stuff that Kanye West was selling, the sneakers, the shoes, the apparel, all the stuff that he was associated. And of course, the stocks in Adidas completely dropped the moment that this happened. Now, my question is it possible for Adidas to want to re-sign Kanye just off the fact that they're losing $1.3 billion? That is a lot of money to lose from a company. But is it beneficial for Kanye West to not re-sign up for them because maybe that $1.3 billion could go directly to his pocket after this whole entire fallout with the Adidas clothing brand, y'all. So that is another update in regards to Kanye West. Haven't really been hearing much about Kanye outside of the paparazzi thing that went down a couple of weeks back. Kanye West been pretty quiet, but this is what they're claiming. They're basically trying to say that they need Kanye. It's starting to come out that Adidas really did need Kanye. Kanye don't need Adidas because it's insane how one person could cost a company $1.3 billion. They may have to think that over. I mean, of course, what Kanye said was not okay, but my question is, do you guys think it's possible that Adidas may re-sign Kanye West just so they can bring back that value to their company and get their stocks back in order? But a lot of people isn't supporting Kanye West like they did before. It's a big old question, the elephant in the room. The only way we're going to know is if Kanye West decided to move over and build his own brand independently, which is Yeezy, and it sells out. And then we'll know whether Adidas basically made a oopsie by dropping Kanye West in regards to all the controversy that was going on with him last year. Outside of that, I think I kind of want to wrap it up today. Oh, wow, I just found some more news. So Charlamagne the God said that Drake and Kendrick Lamar shouldn't be on the top 10 rappers list. Now, have you guys seen this rappers list that was released by Billboard? I just want to talk about that real quick before I get off of here. Billboard put out a top 50 of all time rappers list where they were basically discussing the top 50 rappers of all time, and it was a few rappers that was missing, and Ice Cube was asked about it when he did an interview, and he basically said Billboard was irrelevant. Now, I can read all the top 20 artists of that 50. All right, it had Big Daddy Kane at 20, Missy Elliott at 19, Ice Cube at 18, 50 Cent at 17, Scarface at 16, J. Cole at 15, LL Cool J at 14, Rakim at 13, Andre 3000 at 12, Kanye West at 11, Nicki Minaj 10. That means Nicki Minaj is number one when it comes to rapper for female. So like as a female MC, they're saying that Nicki Minaj is the number one female MC of all time. That's up for debate, but let's continue. This is the final 9. You're all men. All right, they got Snoop Dogg at number 9, Drake at 8, question mark with Drake. We're going to get back to Drake in a minute. Lil Wayne 7, Biggie Smalls 6, Eminem 5, Tupac Shakur 4, Nas 3, Kendrick Lamar 2, and Jay-Z at number 1. Now, this list just seemed to be just a collaboration of the most popular artists in the past, I guess, 3 decades or so. Or the past 50 years of hip-hop in general. And honestly, I feel like there's certain people that shouldn't be on there. Now, Charlamagne the God made it clear that Kendrick Lamar and Drake shouldn't be in the top 10 of the greatest rappers of all time. Now, what I will say is Kendrick Lamar should definitely be within the top 20, all right? I 100% agree when it comes to Drake. I don't think he should be above, like, the top 15. And the reason why, and I honestly want to bump him down to maybe even a 30 row of people, like that group of 30 something on the list of 50, because it's been reported multiple times that allegedly Drake does not rap, like for real. Allegedly, he has a ghostwriter, and his ghostwriter be writing his rhymes. You know that, and this man came out multiple times claiming that he had helped Drake write his music and stuff like that. And I mean, I would consider myself. I would say, for me to consider Drake, I would say that he is a music artist and not more so like a people like to come out and say that Drake is a rapper. I don't see Drake as a rapper or an MC. I see him as maybe an artist, a hip hop artist that, you know what I mean? But I don't see him as like a rapper, like a real MC lyricist like that. I think Drake knows how to put sound and voice together very well. But the question is he actually able to rap? Because see, a lot of these people that they have on the list next to Drake actually had to show that they could rap. You know, we had Rap City, we had battles and stuff like that, and they actually had to show that they can rap. Like, they actually proved the point that they could freestyle and they were really in the game, like for real. Drake hasn't had to prove that. Like, everything that he's done been pre-recorded and released. And I don't recall ever having Drake on Hot 97 or none of these big major hip hop podcasts freestyling. I don't recall that. And the only time that he did freestyle, it wasn't a real freestyle. He had notes from what I recall way back in the day. He had did an interview and he had his rhymes written down. So that's still not freestyle. So I don't understand how he's in the top 20 list when he allegedly don't even freestyle like that. and also he allegedly has ghostwriters. That's just very confusing to me. And also, I just don't see it. I don't see it. Everybody can sit here and say, well, Drake done sold out. But Drake is a great artist. That doesn't mean he's a great MC. He doesn't mean he's a great rapper. I think he's a great hip hop artist and a great artist overall, because he's not actually just putting out rap. Like, he's singing sometimes he's rapping, sometimes he's just like a sometimes. He's kind of like Lizzo. Like, sometimes Lizzo's rapping, sometimes Lizzo is singing, sometimes Lizzo is just doing whatever the hell Lizzo want to do. And I feel like that's the same thing with Drake. That doesn't mean that her artistry suck because she's not technically an MC or a singer, but it's like, you gotta pick a side. Is Drake a singer? Is he a rapper? Like, or he's just a music artist? If he's just a music artist, Drake can even fall into pop. If we really think about it, he could be a pop artist for the music that he's produced and written over the years. I just don't see him being in the top 10 of the greatest hip hop artists. If we just talking about because he got sales, he sold some records, well, he has crossover appeal because he's not really a rapper like that. He's a musician, and he decided to build his brand to make sure that he could cross over to multiple genres. That's in people across the globe. So that's just my personal thoughts about that list. But that's the list they had in the top 20. I don't understand how the hell they put Nicki Minaj above Missy Elliott. I mean, if we're going to talk about originality, Nicki Minaj needs to be pushed down that list all the way down, and she needs to be like in the top 20s or something like that. And they need to bring Lauryn Hill up the list way higher. They need to put Missy Elliott way higher up on that list. Like, Lil' Kim needs to be way higher. They should be in the top 20s along with the males. Like, if you're going to do the top 20s, Missy Elliott needs to be involved in that. Lauryn Hill needs to be involved in that. And Lil' Kim should be involved in that, because those were originators, a part of the hip-hop culture. Nicki Minaj, with all due respect, I like the girl. I really do. But her whole image was stolen from Lil' Kim. The presentation of Nicki Minaj was clearly an inspiration of Lil' Kim times 20. And Missy Elliott was an originator. I don't see Nicki Minaj as an originator. I see her as a great rapper, but her image was more so inspired by somebody else. And I really want to say, originality-wise, presentation, if we're going to talk about rappers that really pushed the hip-hop forward for women, I wouldn't say Nicki Minaj did it, because she don't even know how to unite with her fellow female rappers out here. She don't support them like that. Missy Elliott does. I'm pretty sure Lauryn Hill has produced music for other female artists and really showed the unity in hip-hop. I feel like Missy Elliott should be number 1. Lauryn Hill should be number 2. Lil' Kim should be number 3, or Lil' Kim should be number 2, followed by Lauryn Hill. Like, because even though Lauryn Hill only came out with, one personal album, she is a great songwriter, and she did a lot for hip-hop culture. She should be definitely at the top of the list. There's so many female hip-hop artists that I'm just so confused about that got outbeat by Nicki Minaj. It's just like, who's writing this? And even Ice Cube came out and he did an interview and said that, the Billboard list is irrelevant as hell, man, because, who really cares about it? You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know who's writing this list. It's just how people was feeling while they was sitting there sipping their coffee. Like, I think I like this person better because I said so. Who really has to say on the greatest hip-hop artist of all time? That's the biggest question. And it got to be the people that's older, not us young folks, man. I don't think we should even really. I wouldn't consider myself young. I guess not no more. I'm in my 30s. I'm 31, so maybe I should have more say. But anybody that's under the age of 30, I don't think they should even have say. And I'm pretty sure the people that put that together got to be real young, because you got to be real young to produce a list like that. Outside of that, I think I went through everything I wanted to discuss so far on my pod this week. I just want to catch up with y'all and discuss this with y'all and just vibe out and let it be a nice long podcast so y'all can listen to it while y'all cleaning the house or hanging out with your friends or doing homework or whatever y'all like to do. I wanted to do a full podcast just to vibe out with y'all, and I'll probably do some more short videos, but I've been backed up on YouTube, so I'm going to put this extended, long, hour and a half pod up for everybody to listen to, and I hope that you guys share it, because I want to test the waters. We are inching on 7,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I have way more people on here, so I'm trusting that this show is going to go far and this podcast is going to do well, you know what I mean, because sometimes I just want to just vibe out, and of course I'm still going to do my short videos, a commentary when breaking news happen, but I've been off of the radar for the past couple of weeks because I had to deal with some things, get my things in order, so I'm back. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really want to give y'all something longer, nothing short and stuff, because I know I've been gone for a week. So I want to give y'all a list of hot topics in the urban world, have little discussions about it. But share your thoughts. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button on the video. The thumbs up really helps. I want to hear your thoughts. Make sure you turn your notification bells on. If you guys are on YouTube, do that. Facebook, do that. Follow my actual podcast on Spotify and Apple. I have the link for my Buzzsprout account right there as well for you guys to listen. Just support. Let's grow this brand. And I'm DJ J Erica. This is the DJ J Erica podcast. If you like what you see, share it with your people. And let's build this community. I'm going to interact more often with you guys on social media. If you guys on my Facebook page, you guys see I like to clown a lot and put up crazy video posts and pictures and stuff to interact. But this is the pod, and I welcome you guys and all the new followers and subscribers. Follow for more content, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Much love. Peace.